white person
uninformed,
depicts the Black Panther Party as the equivalent to the Ku Klux Klan.
They call them a hate group.
Yes, exactly. Now, I understand why it is, because one thing I've always learned is if you're gonna say anything about a person, if you're gonna try to understand a person, you gotta put yourself in them shoes. So if I'm dumb Billy from Alabama and I watch
It's a real person too.
Panther, and I see Huey P. Newton, all I see is a black N-word waving around guns, dressed all in black. All right, and that's pretty much what I get from it. So I grew up with that mentality. So then years later, I see Beyonce dressed like Huey P. Newton. I'm gonna say, oh man, she's part of a hate group because they hate us. But that's what happens when you don't take the time to look behind the story. So now, in the era of social media, we have people. I'm 30 years old, so there's a 15-year-old kid out there who doesn't know the story of the Black Panther Party, who says, oh, okay, so maybe this is a hate group. Maybe this is because they're uninformed.
Yes,
and this is the problem with social media.
And you know what? And man, we have to make a show of this because I'm about to go in on y'all.
Listen, I'm looking at how much time we got.
Listen, hear me out, because I don't know if it was Eric or if it was Jerome that was assisting me with this, but there is a movie called Panther.
Yes.
And this movie,
I love it.
And this movie,
we were trying to find it.
We were trying to
I have it. You need it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I own it.
Listen, you told me about
DVD
it.
You need on VHS or DVD?
I got it on MP4.
Oh, okay.
I can email it to you.
Yeah, I might need that. No, he recommended it.
Listen, there is a movie called Panther, and unfortunately, I couldn't find it on DVD because it came out in the VHS era, and me and Eric was kind of going back, and I was pretty much sharing my passion about it. And this movie, and just off the top of my head, this movie has Kadeem Hardison, and it was Dwayne Wayne off of Different World. It has a whole bunch of big names, well, we would consider big names in it. And unfortunately, this movie is not on DVD. Like, you can't find it. You can't find it on YouTube. It has to be formatted. Someone has to record it from VHS into DVD. So you can't literally buy the actual DVD because it hasn't been made. And this movie came out sometime in the 90s, but yet we have The Wizard of Oz, which was made sometime in the 50s, and they have a whole crap load of that. So that was kind of like my whole big hoopla and concern.
Have you ever seen they had a one-man show about Huey P. Newton?
You know what? Yes. That was a Spike Lee joint.
It was on HBO. Amazing.
Yeah, that was a Spike Lee joint. And here's the thing where I mentioned earlier, this really ties into the whole Black history thing, where our parents, I feel that our parents need to educate their kids, because I told my son about it. My son's never heard of Huey P. Newton. He's never heard of it in school. He heard it from me. So if you speak to my son, he's 23 years old and young male, and he's heard it from me. So as a Black man, as a parent, I'm proud to say, hey, I'm doing my job.